In this lesson, we'll begin refining the line work for our fifth and final character. Alright, so in the previous lesson, we started working on developing a character based on this shape right here. Now, I tell you what, let me go ahead and move these pencils down to a new layer, or excuse me, down below our shape so we can sort of see the difference in those two. So you can see how we started with this shape here, and we ended up with this character here. We flushed that shape out and developed this entire character based on this shape. So I tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and begin refining the line work much like the way we did with previous characters here, and really mapping out areas for color. So I tell you what, I want to make sure I'm on this refined layer in my character 5 layer folder, and let's go ahead and get started. I'm just going to zoom in using a 100% opacity black hard brush. We're going to go in here and begin pulling out some of this line work. So I'm going to come in and let's just start with her hair. She's got really dominant hair, and I think that it's really heavily styled. And we mentioned in the last lesson that maybe this is a prom date, or a girl who's ready to go to the prom. So I tell you what, she's probably got lots of hairspray in that hair. So let's go in and really make it stand out and a dominant feature for this character. So you know, we've got it extending all the way out here and lots of area underneath the hair before we hit her face. So I tell you what, let's go ahead and just rotate this around and begin really flushing out the line work here in the character's hair. So I'm just going to draw that line there, and I tell you, rotating my canvas is an extremely useful feature for me in Photoshop and when I'm drawing in, and that's the keyboard shortcut R. If you are more accustomed to drawing on a traditional piece of paper, then rotating the piece of paper as you draw may be something that you are quite used to. And really, to be honest, as you're working in Photoshop, it's something that, you know, before, I believe, Photoshop CS4, it was something that was a difficult task to do. You had to actually rotate the canvas instead of having a rotate canvas tool. So this is a really great feature that was added, especially for me, coming from more of a traditional background. Let's just go ahead and continue working our way around this character's hair. Now, I've got sort of a nice curl going here to kind of terminate this hair at the end, and we'll just come in and kind of flush this curl out. Again, I'm using very quick, very confident strokes here as I'm inking this character, as I'm laying down this line work. And we'll just continue working through this character's hair until we've pretty much completed it here. So I tell you what, let's just go ahead and draw in this line right here. And again, you know, I mentioned this before, drawing from the elbow is much easier and much quicker than trying to draw a straight, confident line from the wrist. So if you catch yourself having difficulty drawing a straight line or a confident line that doesn't have some shakiness to it, try drawing it from the elbow. You know, it may take a little bit of practice getting used to drawing it that way, but you know, you're going to end up with a better result in the end. So let's come over here and handle this other side of her hair. We'll just zoom in on that, and let's go ahead and handle this line right here. Now again, we're not using straight lines. Every line in this character has some kind of a curve to it, and that's really adding to the softness of the character. A harsh line or straight line is going to be more of a strong line, and unless we're drawing a specific type of female, most of these females we're drawing should have a very soft nature to them, or a soft aspect to them. We'll just come in here and connect these two lines, completing that area of the hair. Just trim that back just a little bit, and let's go ahead and handle this curl right in here. Let's rotate around and draw that in just like so. And we'll create sort of this little flipping curl right here. Now, this is actually a really quick way to do a character concept, but you know, you may actually have some projects that you could get away with using these type of characters on. Now, for example, if you're working on, say, a children's book or something like that, where the child isn't really focused too much on the amount of detail, and it's maybe for a younger child, then you know, you might be able to get away with some illustrative pieces like this. So again, you know, these are just character concepts that we're working up right now, and you know, we're intending to maybe take one or two of these even further if we find something nice. So this is really a great exercise for you to go through and really just practice on seeing shapes within a larger, more complex shape. So we'll just come in and really work at refining this jawline, making it nice and clean here. And let's rotate this back around here and zoom out and kind of see where we're at. All right, so looking pretty good here. We've got a lot of the major lines in the hair taken care of. Now, we've got a few lines here that we could actually fill in here within the part to add some value to the hair. And, I may come in and do some more of that as we move forward, but let's go ahead and hit the major lines for our character here. Let's go ahead and come in here, maybe start on some facial features next. So, we've got really large expressive eyes, and we talked about this being sort of maybe a girl whose prom date has left her at the prom, and maybe she's not having a very good go at it. So let's go ahead and just try and portray that in the eyes that we draw for her. So thinking about a very sad moment in her life, maybe she's got very droopy eyes, very sad, almost tearful eyes. So just thinking about that as we're drawing these, and you might ask yourself, after you've finished drawing an eye, if you're going for that kind of emotion in the eyes, is the eye that you've drawn the best possible eye to convey that? So especially if you're going for a very stylized character like these, then ask yourself those kind of questions. Is there a better eye that I could draw? And remember, eyes are important. Eyes are one of the most important features when it comes to a female character, really for conveying emotion. So let's come in here, drop in a fill on that, and we'll just blacken this eye, make it nice and dark here. So we'll be able to zoom out on that. And I mentioned that maybe our character is wearing some eyeshadow, and I'm probably not going to actually draw that in with the black pen. I may save that for the color aspect of this character, and maybe just really adding even a shadow, or maybe some eyeshadow in this area that I've penciled in here. So, but I do tell you, we need to go ahead and focus on these eyebrows. Now, if she's not happy, then the eyebrows are going to tell you that. So the eyebrows can really convey so much emotion and really help to amplify the emotion that you capture in the eyes on your characters. So we'll just come in here and do some nice unhappy, angry, sharp type eyebrows for our character here. So you can see here that's a very sharp angle there. We've almost got it straight up and down right here. So let's come in here now and focus on this other eye, and we'll come in and bring in this line work for this eye. So coming in here and just drawing these lines in, again mimicking the eye that we have here, but only it's a little further away from us. So not only is it going to be a little bit smaller, but it's going to be a lot narrower because of the angle that we're viewing this at. So keep that in mind as you're drawing an eye that's further away on the opposite side of your character's face. And we'll just come in and draw in this iris here. Make sure to get the right angle to get a nice clean curved line here. A lot of times these smaller curves, it's easy to draw by the wrist and not use the elbow. So just encourage you, when it comes to drawing lines like that, try and focus on moving your elbow and not your wrist, especially when you're drawing onto a Wacom tablet or some other kind of tablet for your computer. It's really easy to get stuck in the rut of drawing with your wrist, especially if you're working on a fairly small tablet. So try and break that habit. That's a really bad habit to get into, and I think you'll be a lot happier with the quality of the lines you're producing as you draw digitally. So we'll just come over here and draw sort of the side of her nostril here, and we're down to her lips. So again, our character's got really expressive, unhappy lips here. So we're going to come in, draw those in just like so. And the portion of her lips that are closer to us are actually a little bit bigger and a little bit more rounded off. And I think that really kind of adds to the emotion of the moment for our character. Alright, so working pretty well here. Let's go ahead and hit this earring. We've got sort of a dangly type earring here, and one that a young girl might wear to the prom, and I think that we've actually repeated some of these shapes down here in a necklace for the young girls. So just a few things to keep in mind. Again, we mentioned that in a previous lesson. Repetition within the basic shapes on your character is going to help your viewers to actually relate to the character. So we'll just come in and draw in these little dangly pieces right here. And I tell you what, let's zoom out for just a moment and see how we're doing. Alright, so really looking pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and focus on our character's neck here. Zoom in on that, rotate around, and really focus on getting some nice, smooth, clean lines for that neck. She's got a sort of a long neck, not quite as long as the character we drew before this, but we still want these to be very, very smooth, very confident lines. down, and we'll work on her shoulders next. So really the shoulders in this character are going to be a continuation of the line for the neck. So I'm going to come over here and just continue to draw that curved line. Maybe we even start down here and give it a little bit of a curve in there. I think I like that. So we'll come over here and work on the other arm next. We might even come in and just clean this area right here up just a little bit. Alright, so let's come over here and work on this shoulder and the way it transitions into this neck. Alright, looking really good. Getting pretty close on this character, and you know, this is our 5th character, and so the next up thing we're gonna handle is gonna probably be some color, and we'll pick one of these characters and take a look at some of the ways that we can apply color to the character. Now, keeping in mind that these are just quick character concepts, they're not anything meant for production. So really, we're just trying to convey the idea of these characters at this point. So I'm gonna come in here and just quickly finish this character off, drawing these nice sort of velour type poofy things around that girl's arms here. And then there's a nice little crease right here where her arm's going to sit. So we're going to go ahead and draw that right over here again. And you know, I've gone ahead and drawn probably more of the girl than we actually need here. Let's just come in and focus in on this area right here, drawing in the necklace. Making sure that's one nice curve there. And we'll just draw in the little pendant that's hanging there. And I'll tell you what, let's come in and hit some of these lines for the character's dress straps here. So we'll just come in and hit a line right about there. And another one here. Just quickly kind of finishing this character off. Alright, looking really good. So just a couple more lines here. And kind of starting to think about the posture of this character. If she was kind of downtrodden, looking at us sort of down her nose, or you know, with her head kind of held low, then you know, maybe her back is kind of giving us that same sort of motion and form. So kind of came in and drew sort of a nice thin waistline that you might see on a character like this. So in this lesson, we have continued working on this character and really refined the existing line work that we developed in the last lesson. So in the next lesson, we're going to continue on where we're leaving off here and begin looking at some ways we can apply color to one of our characters.